All right, good evening, everyone. It is February 17th, 2022. This is our biweekly Police Accountability Board meeting, and we're going to go ahead and start with the roll call.
Okay, Chair Wilson,
Here.
Vice Chair Tucker,
Here.
Member Settle,
Here.
Member Harvey,
Here.
Member Perez,
Here.
Member Nikolov,
Here.
and Member Brown.
I'll just go ahead and say,
Yeah, might still be hooking up to
Yeah.
audio. So all aforementioned members are accounted for.
okay, all right. Thank you so much. We're going to go ahead and move on with the agenda. And let me just call that up real quick. I apologize, everyone. Too many windows open.
I've got it.
You all can relate. So we've.
Here we go.
Oh, thank you. All right, so we have the approval of minutes, and once they are, I believe everybody should have had a chance to look at these, so I'm just going to make the motion to approve, and I need a second.
I second.
Okay,
I second.
all right, so we have 2 seconds for that.
Who was the first?
First was member Perez, and the second was Vice Chair Tucker.
Thank you very much.
All
Okay. And how do we vote?
right, so all in favor of approving the minutes for February 3rd, 2022?
Aye.
Okay,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, motion carries unanimously. Thank you, everyone.
okay, thank you. And now we have our staff report. Executive Director?
Good evening, everyone. Brief update. So on a number of fronts, the meeting with Human Resources was delayed. I know the last meeting we had was supposed to be the following day. Now it is this Friday, so tomorrow at 9 a.m. will be that meeting. I had a very fruitful and productive meeting with President Melendez last weekend, where we talked about a number of issues. And I know that Chair Wilson and I will be speaking with President Melendez and Vice President Lupien and Council Member Smith this weekend as well, to talk about formalizing some communications procedures, et cetera, that will allow PAB to effectively operate. And so those conversations have gone very well, and I look forward to providing the board more updates after this weekend. With regards to our rules and regulations that we need in place to do investigations, do the work that the community needs us to do, the city's law department started reviewing those this past weekend. And so we hope that they will move quickly to review them so we can all sit down at a table and start figuring out how to implement this stuff, get it together as quickly as possible. I will say that in terms of the disciplinary matrix work, I've now delegated some of that authority to our new staff to take point on that and run that. We've got a team of 4 on that right now. So any people who have been involved in the development of the matrix expect a lot of updates in the next couple of weeks on that. Moving towards getting more public input on that. I know we've had this delay with getting information from the city that's based on them approving all of our rules, but we're moving forward regardless. We got to keep moving. We got to do what we can. And in terms of hiring, again, I was hoping to have more detailed update, but that meeting with HR got pushed a couple weeks. So as soon as we know tomorrow morning, I will have an update to the board on that. I'm sure many people tuning in may have seen the news stories around our office space. So the city council approved of a agreement for a 2-year lease at the 245 East Main Street. We're still waiting to hear from the building owners about terms on that. But so I will keep the board updated. Hopefully we'll have final words soon with hopes that we'll be able to start moving in next month, which will be phenomenal. And again, allowing us to stay on track for our goal of opening our doors in late spring with training occurring in April and May. So that is a brief update from the staff, and I'm happy to provide any answers or other information that board members may request.
I think that's it. Nobody has any questions. We're going to go ahead and move forward with the agenda. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for that update. And so next would be the chair's report. Really, I don't have much to report on that the executive director mentioned. We are going to be speaking about what happened with our disciplinary matrix education session that was recorded. So we will make sure that everybody gets that. It was very informative. And so the staff attorneys have been really working hard to get some really good information. And really the next steps for me are going to be really what we should be focusing on. And really, we really are looking forward to hearing from the attorneys at City Hall to make sure that we can work with RP to get the information that we need. That's really what's going to end up holding things. So, okay. So that's it for chair's report. Next on the item is committee report. So training committee. And I know that Danielle is here, but I know that she's got something going on right now. So I'll go ahead and talk about that. So, and also executive director, if you can also kind of jump in here too, because we've got a couple things going on. So CCSI met with training committee on yesterday to talk about all of the details that will be going on with our upcoming training for the staff. And so they've got a pretty comprehensive list, which we can share, and really excited about some of the things that they'll be doing. And so we really talked to their liaison, and I believe that was not recorded, but we can get the minutes from that for you all. And yes.
I was just going to say that he also sent a document out that I shared with the board this morning in case. So that was in your inboxes to review as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So I know I had other board members that were also present. And so we got to talk, have a really great discussion about, there's at least 63 hours that they'll be doing for training for the staff, which is pretty amazing. And so I'm really excited about where they're headed. One of the things I know, they're also looking into restorative practices and restorative, talking about restorative justice, and also to trauma-informed care, which is a huge component of the work they'll be doing every day. And so I really would like to see how that folds into our board training. And so that's something that we're going to be looking into. Member Nikoloff, does that sound pretty accurate to you? Okay. All right. So that's that. The next on the agenda is the old business, which is the disciplinary matrix discussion. And just wanted to, executive director, if you can go ahead and just give them a brief update about the disciplinary matrix and kind of what the staff attorneys are up to from your perspective, please.
Sure. So, in the next week, Associate General Counsel Shanoa May is going to be taking point on some of this work. But what the staff attorneys have done is look into they've already done work in comparing about 50 different disciplinary matrices to see what other communities are doing. So to understand, all the different options that are out there. Then they've looked at different kinds of justice, punitive justice, restorative justice, transformative justice, so that they have a very clear understanding of not only what these models are, but how they might translate in the context of what we're hoping to do. So what kind of specific remedies might, be labeled as restorative or achieving a transformative goal. So getting themselves and PAB the basic knowledge we need to kind of move forward, and then taking a look at how other communities and how we might categorize different kinds of misconduct. What are the different ways to put them in categories that make sense to people? And so, they've written a number of memos on this so that, that obviously will be shared with everyone after final review from us. And I think that we're in a place where that kind of ground level knowledge can help us maybe come up with a initial draft or framework, or at least some way of being able to go to our partners or go to the community or go to folks in our PD and start having those conversations of what they are looking for. out of this. And so really, I think, again, as I said in the staff report, over the next week or two, I think, a lot of email traffic, expect a lot of email traffic about, reading materials and proposals for next steps on this. I'm very excited to get moving on that.
Sorry about that. Does anybody have any questions or any additional thoughts regarding the matrix right now? Nope. Okay. Moving on. So,
Shani, I think Rena has her.
oh, I apologize.
For committees, did you want to propose the chairs?
So that was going to go into new business. So
Okay.
I can do that. Yes. So we're headed there now. I know we talked about RPD access to records. We don't necessarily have an update right now. Do we not?
We have one point. I know that there has been quarterly meetings between the Community Justice Relations Coalition, I believe. I'll get the exact name. I'm sorry, I'm not on my right computer. And the city for the last 3 or 4 years, where RPD gets together with this group and talks about body-worn camera program implementation. So when Mayor Warren set up this program, she set up some community advisory group to oversee this. And this oversight continues on a quarterly basis. And so when Mayor Evans came into office, he reached out and asked PAB to start participating in this. And so there was supposed to be initially a meeting 2 weeks ago on this, but I think last Friday, and that got rescheduled. And I had a communication with the chief where I mentioned, we're going to be having we're going to be doing bigger picture, getting more information about, this as well. And so does it make sense for us to maybe wait until we set up those rules about information access before having a preliminary meeting on this? And he seemed open to that idea of doing that and maybe, continuing whatever he's doing on this body-worn camera stuff until we can all sit down and talk about how are we actually going to see, the full picture here rather than just the existing meeting structure that may not be as comprehensive, right? Because that group that was meeting quarterly only had the same access that any other member of the community would have, right?
Okay.
And so maybe save everyone a little bit of time until we can get our rules in place. But that was just a brief conversation I had with the chief. And I just wanted to bring that up to the board to make sure everyone was okay with that and that we were all on the same page about that. I'm trying to avoid duplicativeness here and ease everyone's lives. But in case people wanted us to maybe push forward with that, I'm more than open to it.
Discussion? Nope. Okay.
I have a question. I'm not sure where it goes, and I'm sorry, it might have been there. What is the status of PAB's role in selecting a new police chief?
So I am speaking with the head of HR tomorrow. As I understand it, she has been involved in coordinating some of the focus groups. And so, I will bring this up with her at tomorrow's 9 o'clock. And here, because as I understand it, she's the one running point on that.
Okay. I will find it objectionable if PAB is treated as yet another focus group.
I agree.
Or I will see, because I know that, there was a range of options. And I think we discussed last time having PAB involved as much as possible. And if, focus group plus other things, let's talk about all the options that are on the table. So I will make sure that comes up, Rabbi Settle.
Okay. Any other discussion? No? Okay. All right. So the last, I think the last thing that I had on the agenda was just a brief addition was that, now we have finance committee meeting that's coming up that should be sent to your emails for coordination. We have training and we have jobs committee and we also have training, jobs committee, finance, and probably education will come up with probably working with training, right? Because we're doing both now. So we need chairs for these different committees. And so this isn't something that we need to do tonight, but just please check in your email. And I would really love a volunteer for each. Education already has a chair, but would love to have a volunteer for those committees that do not have a chair. And so that's pretty much everybody, or every committee. Okay. So I just wanted you to be aware that was coming. And then the point person for committee work and business is going to be Vice Chair Tucker. So if you have any concerns or issues as she's waving, just please just let her know, and we can talk about it. Okay. Okay.
Chair Wilson, can I add something to the new business
Yes.
you proposed?
Mm.
As the PAB moves hopefully into new office space, that office space has a significant amount of space set aside for board meetings, public events, community engagement events. It's a modular room that can allow us to hold hearings, do trainings, etc. It's really wonderful, and has seating, and hopefully we're going to get live streaming capacity in there. And I think that, as we move forward through COVID, the board's going to have some discussions about hybrid, in-person, live streaming. And I know that I've spoken with members of the training committee about making sure that we have our training as accessible as much as possible. So I just, as part of I know the training committee is going to be talking about this, but I would also suggest that the board as a whole start thinking about what its ideal setup is. And the staff is happy to support you all in whatever way possible. I will just put on the radar, it's not clear when the state may require you all to start meeting in person again. And so we should also factor in a little bit of uncertainty there, and maybe a plan in case the state does start making in-person meetings required once more.
I know the mask mandate is going to be lifted. Is it this month or next month?
The mask mandate has been lifted within certain city
Okay.
features. Now in PAB's offices, we continue to wear masks.
Okay.
And so that will continue to happen. But obviously, as the situation changes, guidance will change. But right now in PAB offices where people can't socially distance, you have to wear a mask.
Okay. So we can tack that and address it as it comes up. If the move-in date is coming up soon, then we can address that then. Okay, great. All right, so folks, that's all we had tonight. This is going to be a brief meeting, and if there is nothing else that anybody wants to bring up, I'm going to make the motion to adjourn the meeting for tonight. Looking for hands.
I believe that was Tucker as a second that I saw, and all in favor.
A second to adjourn.
Yep, there's no second to adjourn. That's why I didn't say it.
All right, this seems
We're all set.
unanimous.
Okay.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
Thank you. Nice
Thanks,
to see
everyone.
you.
Budget committee meets next week,
Budget committee.
And training, right?
and training.
Training every week for a while.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Yep. So we'll have to make sure we get that all on there. Thanks.
Okay.
Good night.
Good night.
Have a fanglorious night.